Okay, so this is an interview with Professor Pan at UW Tacoma. First question I have for you is, where were you born and what was it like growing up?
I was born in China, Funan, China. And what was it like when I grew up? That's a big question, I thought. I grew up in a city. Not, well, yeah, at first it was kind of like a suburb, small town. And I grew up sort of in a university environment. Both of my parents worked for a university, sort of in the suburbs. And then when I was maybe 10, that university was bought by a bigger university, combined by university from the capital city of that province. So I moved with my family from a smaller kind of neighborhood to like a city. Yeah, more urban area. Yeah.
Okay. So what was schooling like there? I mean, what are some of the differences you saw there versus here?
Ooh, so many differences. Good questions. I think education is it's heavily valued, especially, I guess I can't really speak for everybody in China, but especially from where I grew up in a kind of college town, that, my friends' parents are all like teachers or staff members. So it's, like there's a certain environment that it's easier, it's more accessible, but also it's kind of the pattern that you follow.
Right.
And I think it's more like, I always thought it's funny that people say like, oh, geek is cool now, right? I was like, geek is always cool where I'm from. Like, smart kids are always being treated like they're superior from where I'm from. But here it's like they're dorky, they're nerd, right? There's a big difference from like athletic excellence from like academic success. But yeah, I'm not used to that. Anything else outside of quote unquote academic success is not as valued as much. So in a way, coming to America opened up another way of like thinking about this or questioning the value system. Like, who decides what is cool, what is sexy, or whatever, what's important, what's being valued?
That is interesting. Yeah. And so when did you come to?
I came here when I was 20. So junior year in college, I was a international exchange student or, / transfer student.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then, so, what were some of the like cultural differences that really stood out to you? Were there any kind of struggles around that? Did you get like a culture shock or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of cultural shock. Part of it is like everybody have siblings. I'm from the only child generation in China.
Oh, yeah.
So it's cool to see their dynamic with their siblings.
Sure.
And then I think that's something later, more slowly, I recognize. Maybe a bigger cultural shock that I experienced is from undergrad, which is a small white Christian town in Oregon, to Philadelphia. That's where I did my grad school. So when I was in undergrad, I felt, I'm an international student, I'm an outsider, like this is not part of my world. I'm more just like watching what's going on, and it was fine. And then when I went to Philadelphia, I started to feel a little bit more of like, at first it was really hard. It was like, very chaotic, they're dirty, and you can see like poverty in front of you. It was really hard, and people just talk really fast. You know?
You did, yes.
Yeah, talk very fast. I didn't have a good time at first, but then I realized that's like the true America. There are different people, different races. When I was an undergrad, it's all white. Like we had 4 or 5 African or Black students, and 3 of them are international students. So only like 2 actually African Americans, you know. And back then I was not, because I didn't know what it is. So I just thought that's America.
Right.
Yeah, and I think like to realize the truth, the fact or different type of truth can coexist was very shocking, and it was not easy for me to deal with, but I'm very grateful of that. Yeah,
That's nice. About the language barrier specifically, did you have any issues? Because I guess you grew up in a more academic environment. Did you learn other languages fairly early, or?
no, I mean, because like I think very as a privilege, like I'm from an environment that my parents really valued education. So I always studied English, but my English was never really good. Like at least in China, my English was not good. I think also that reflected how learning outcome is being evaluated is through exams, right? It's less of like English is a tool or language is a tool for you to like communicate. So I always had like English classes at school, but it wasn't something that I feel comfortable to use or even interested in. I wasn't like, I'm so interested in American or Western culture. I want to watch so much TV shows or like singers. I'm not one of those people, which I was friends with people who were more open to that, were more interested and more curious. So yes, I had a really big language barrier when I came. Like in classes, I would like bring a thing to record, and then because some people told me, yeah, you can record and later you can listen to it, but that was so time consuming. I find myself like I would not listen to it later because like a whole class, then you have to, so you're spending more than double.
Same class twice.
Yeah, or more. And then sometimes it's not more you listen to, the more you understand the same thing. You just need to like understand things in the context, right? So I learned to have study buddies with me from the class. I remember the first class I took was art history, and it was so difficult. And the professor was like very talkative, and he rambles. And also like Western history, there's also European names. A lot of the culture I was not really familiar with. And then I would, after class, like ask my study buddy, be like, what was that? Like, did I understand it? Why I don't understand anything? And one of my local, like American friend was like, yeah, I don't understand anything either. That kind of thing would make me feel better. But still having somebody in class I can like go to and to check in with, it was really helpful. I also remember like maybe the second or third months when I was in America, like, French came to America. One day I woke up and I was like, I just felt so tired of like, I need to spend another day of speaking English. I need to roll my tongues in a certain way that I'm so like, I feel like my muscles are tired from that, Yeah, so that was hard for sure.
So I don't think people realize that like it is a physical exercise.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So when you got into the art world itself, what were some of your experiences there? I mean, do you have any like opportunities or challenges, you know, as somebody who came from another country?
Yeah, I don't know how do I think myself in the art world or not, but I guess I interpret your question as, or more, maybe I would be more comfortable talking about how I then see myself as a professional artist, and then like how my identity affects the work I make. I remember in grad school having a critique, and then one of the professor was like, in the committee, it was like, have you thought of making work about your Asian identity? At the time, it was confusing to me because I'm like, I'm not making work necessarily about my identity. I don't want to be pigeonholed by that. You know, I don't want to be thinking, oh, you look Asian, you must make work about like red lanterns or whatever, like whatever we think that would be. I was a little offended. I mean, now I don't think that's a good question that she as a white woman asking, right? Thinking me as the other need to make work about the other experience, where maybe the pretext of that is thinking about white body as the default, the neutral, right? And that's problematic. But I think in a way that made me think deeper about my identity here in America, and like what voice I want to amplify, perhaps, or take ownership, or like have a deeper connection with. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question well, but
That's great. Yeah. No,
okay.
that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, but wait, let me finish that. Yes.
Yeah.
I think like now, for a long time I was rejecting or making work that could easily be pigeonholed to, but now I'm kind of embracing that. Like, yeah, this is part of my story. Not necessarily I'm making it legible for other people to flatten my experience, but at the same time, like I'm not apologetic to that, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I'm not shying away, and also like embracing
that portion. Yeah. Okay. Do you still have connections back home? Do you ever go back? Yeah.
Yeah, my parents are all in China, and I have my childhood friends in China, and I do when I can.
Oh.
Recent time was in February. I went home. So I try. I mean, I don't have, especially after the pandemic, it's been very hard. I've had as long as 5.5 years without seeing my parents because of the pandemic. Travel was restricted, and also my immigration status. It was tricky to move. And then with so much happening, it was more risky for me to travel. So that was very hard. But now, I'm able to see them. Yeah.
Even now, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then last question, what advice would you have for new students specifically who are coming from other cultures, and from your experiences, and are there any things you think that would help them, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I think make friends, really. Like, be open-minded. Make friends with local people. I think what I've noticed is, like, a lot of American kids are just like everywhere else. They're shy. You know, they don't talk to you. It's not because they're judgmental or they don't want to talk to you. Maybe they're just shy. They don't know how to. So, and also make friends with your own people. I feel like in my undergrad, I was very actively trying to make friends with the locals, with Americans. Less of, I didn't really connect much with people from China with me. There were few. Part of it was I was art major, they're studying business, and I feel like I'm from more of like, like teachers family, like, and they're from like business or like family owning factories, or they're just like different kind of class. So I had some judgments towards that, and it was like, also, our economic status was slightly different. Yeah, but I think, like be open-minded and like make connections with other people. It's the best way to be true to yourself, not necessarily for like assimilating, right?
Yeah, and building a community of your own.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. That's all I need. This has been Professor Pan from University of Washington, Tacoma, and we thank her again.